And if you are just joining us, we heard from Lindsay Regis, who is there right now, and she said about 200 to 300 people have showed up, and they're on the left there. And we're trying to see who's coming off the plane right now. We're not sure just yet. There's Erica Kirk, the blonde right there with the sunglasses coming off the plane. Behind her are the Vances right there. The second lady and the vice president behind.
Yeah, President Trump today said that she is just devastated by all this, and rightfully so. These kids will not know their father.
President Trump did say that he had heard that the funeral will likely happen in about a week or so, probably the next weekend.
And probably here.
And probably here is what he said. Again, just what he said today. Nothing is set in stone as far as the funeral goes just yet. And of course, when that does happen, when we hear anything, we'll pass that on to you.
Yeah, I think, you know, we talked about the horror of seeing this on social media. To see someone's life taken so violently on camera and seeing that, I think it shook a lot of people to see that image.
Yeah, and you know, it spread quickly, and it was not censored either.
No.
You know, and
this is the world we're living in.
And that's the world we're living in now, John. That is the world that we are living in.
I mean, it took years, literally, to finally the public to see the Zapruder film of John Kennedy's assassination. While not as graphic, this was equally violent yesterday, and we saw it within minutes.
Yeah, and you know, with wherever Charlie Kirk goes, honestly, where any person goes now, if they are speaking at an event, whether they are an activist, whether they are an elected official, everyone has a phone now, and everyone is recording. And so that is why we're seeing this video is out there. And it's unfortunate because the video is out there.
My sense is that maybe Charlie Kirk's casket is going to come out of that door.
They're trying to. It seems like they're trying to coordinate it right now.
Yeah. You know, and maybe Erica, it's hard to know, his wife did not want his casket placed in the cargo hold,
right,
out of respect.
Correct.
To put him in the airplane and ride along with him on the way home. We will see if that's how this all unfolds. Yeah. You talked about the cameras, and this has materially changed these investigations now into whoever did this.
To try to find the person.
That investigation is ongoing. We're actually expecting a press conference sometime this evening. Kash Patel, the FBI director, Dan Bongino, assistant director, they're on their way to Utah. They're probably there now. So we don't know what's going to come out of that press conference, whether they have somebody in mind, they're ready to release a name, we don't know. But these cameras have you know, made much easier trying to track down somebody because you can't seem to avoid detection.
Right, and whether it was the cameras at the school, that looks like that is kind of where these two photos have surfaced from, this person of interest that they're looking for wearing a t-shirt and a hat, or video cameras or cell phone cameras that have captured this person running from the scene.
Ring doorbell cameras.
Ring doorbell cameras, yeah. And then also there were surveillance cameras in a wooded area and also in a neighborhood nearby the school where family members have said, we think we got the guy running through our neighborhood. They also have video of that too. I mean, it's like wherever you go, you are going to be caught on video somewhere, typically. And then if you're at an event with thousands of people, everyone has a phone. Yeah,
I think we've got an honor guard here. I think Charlie Kirk's body casket will come out of that door shortly.
And we know that a number of the Turning Point team members are also on the plane here as well. So I'm wondering if they might be helping with the casket too, which
serving almost as pallbearers.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. And you know, they were with the Turning Point team, you know, they were there. Well, let's see here.
Yeah, I think
this is the casket that's coming out. It's an honor guard.
Yeah.
Not the Turning Point members.
Draped in the American flag. Is it? I'm not sure.
No, it's not. No. That is Air Force, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
I could not see from our image if the flag was on that casket. That would be reserved primarily for elected leaders. Charlie Kirk was not. That's what made this a little different. Somebody who was not elected to high office, taken out in an assassination. That's what the FBI is calling it. That's what Utah officials are calling it. And somebody targeted who's not an elected official. I mean, we've seen it in American history, certainly. Martin Luther King certainly comes to mind.
Yeah, a political activist.
A very
voice. Outspoken
yes.
Political activist. Yes. And, you know, we spoke with a former Secret Service agent who has protected President Trump, President Bush, actually the entire Bush family, and he talked about the difficulties of an open-air environment protecting someone, and that goes for an elected official, let alone a non-elected official who has the Secret Service protection because by law they do, and you know Charlie Kirk did not. Now, he had 6 police officers and he also had his security team, but he did not have Secret Service and whatnot because he was not an elected official.
Nobody there to sweep rooftops.
And then you also had just the difficulty of an outdoor venue of trying to manage that. And he talked about that. That was very, very difficult to keep an area like that secure.
Especially from 200 yards.
Right.
There was no one there to sweep that building.
No.
And not like you would have with Secret Service, even though Secret Service failed in Butler, Pennsylvania, in the attempt on President Trump's life. Nonetheless, you just would not think, I think most people would not think Charlie Kirk would necessarily be the target of this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and it happened just over 24 hours ago when, you know, you got word that he had been shot, and then shortly after that he had died.
We're in the 5 o'clock hour now. Charlie Kirk is back home in Phoenix. We believe, at least the president has hinted, that he will have a funeral next weekend.
In the Phoenix area, correct, right. And
that President Trump will attend. So if that goes as planned, we will probably have a presidential visit in our future.
Yeah. And we just witnessed, if you're just joining us, we just witnessed Erica Kirk, his wife, walk off Air Force 2. She was holding hands with Usha Vance, the second lady, and then Vice President JD Vance walking behind the 2 women off of the plane down the stairway. And then we know that about 200 to 300 people have showed up at Sky Harbor Airport to pay their respects to Charlie Kirk, to welcome him home here to Phoenix after the assassination in Utah.
Out of respect, I think, to her children's privacy, we did not see the children come off that airplane.
Right, yep. And we know that they have a 3-year-old daughter, a 1-year-old son. We've never known their names. We've never seen their faces on social media anyway, and the Kirks have been very open about keeping that private. They don't want to reveal the children's names or their faces on social media. They feel like it's something they want to keep close to them for security reasons.
Smart. Smart move.
Yeah. And I think, you know, so we don't know where the body is going now just yet. We haven't gotten official word what funeral home he will be taken to. That would be the next step, logical step anyway. And we have not been given that information. So that is something that we will, you know, hope to learn. But we just don't know. So, and there is the casket being lowered right now into, we assume that it will be lowered into a hearse.
Into a hearse,
Can we go to Lindsay Regius at all? Is Lindsay available to kind of give us some information about what's going on. Lindsay, is there a hearse there to take Charlie Kirk's casket somewhere? What are you seeing right now?
Yeah, John and Ellen, we saw a hearse hours ago. We expect that hearse to come out of the gates right in front of Air Force 2. Unfortunately, this bus is blocking where that hearse, we believe that hearse will come out of. But if my photographer pans to our left, you could see about 8 motorcycles ready to go. So we do believe they will come out this way. We have another photographer here, Rick, who will have another angle of that. And then a third photographer who will follow that hearse.
Lindsay, can we possibly swing the camera to the group of people who were there to welcome Charlie Kirk's body back home?
John, that's going to be a little difficult, but if we can take Rick's shot, we can show you what that looks like, because he's actually right next to them.
Yeah,
we have about 12. Okay, great. We have about 12 camera crews to our left, so that's all you would see if we turned our camera. But there is a large gathering here. They started gathering here, I would say, 3 hours ago. Everyone has their phones up. You can see flags here, and we spoke to them a few hours ago, and we'll speak to them again once the hearse passes. And we heard that sound earlier today in our newscast.
Lindsay, JD Vance helped join the group of uniformed service members to bring Charlie Kirk's body home. What is the sense out there? What's the emotion from the people there on the ground?
Sadness, quiet. That's how it's been all day, especially when Air Force 2 came down. You could hear a little bit of chatter, but right when it landed, just silence. People are heartbroken. We were at Turning Point USA, the headquarters, last night, crying, bringing their family members, so many flowers, candles, balloons, so many people coming out to show their support. Can't believe this happened. A lot of ASU students also showed up there, and they came ever since the news broke. We were out there until around 10:15. People were still coming, dropping off those flowers and looking at the signs that were recently put up outside the headquarters.
Do we know where Charlie Kirk's wife is right now? Is she in a car that will carry the body?
I am going to assume that is what is going to happen in just a few minutes. I don't have eyes on her right now. Once she walked down the stairs, we really don't have any visibility. You see the gates, you see buses, and they're behind all of that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know that they obviously want to keep kind of, we actually heard too that there were some sweeps happening for security reasons at the Turning Point headquarters, just based on kind of what's been going on, kind of the temperature just happening right now across the country. And so you can see right there, you have buses, you have, just security in general. So it kind of no surprise there that they're keeping everybody back right now.
Yeah, I'm sure people are watching this, and there are people who say, why so much coverage and kind of the trappings of a head of state passing away? I think, the sense is in the Republican world, Charlie Kirk was a huge force. And that's why there's so much attention on him and all of this, riding on the vice president's plane to bring him home.
Well, and the fact, too, that President Trump actually was the one to announce that he had died. I mean, he was the one that informed the country that he had died. It wasn't Turning Point. It wasn't the Kirk family. And, you can see that President Trump had also ordered the flags to fly at half staff, too. I mean, you can see that that's what's happening right now. Republicans really, really respected him, and some even credit Charlie Kirk for helping President Trump get elected, too.
I think there's no doubt about that. He
turned out the vote.
He turned out. People. They did. They turned out young people,
and especially young men.
And some people questioned, Charlie Kirk's tactics, whether it was going to work. There were questions going into the 2024 election, whether he was really going to be able to deliver, because they put a lot on him. And I think the conclusion was, and certainly within the White House, that he did, that he delivered voters.
Yeah, and a lot of it was done through social media, through podcasts, and, you know, a lot of people were saying, well, why aren't you knocking on doors? Why aren't you?
Yes.
And
this was a little bit unconventional.
It definitely was unconventional, and it worked. And it certainly worked in the last election, but that was where we really kind of heard the chatter of, why aren't you seeing, you know, these young people from Turning Point who have these big contracts right now with some of these candidates knocking on doors, and they were focused on podcasts. That's where they were reaching younger people, especially younger men, to get out and vote, and that was kind of their strategy. And it delivered victory.
Yeah, it's another reminder that the conventional wisdom is often wrong.
That's true. Yeah.
All we heard going into that election was the ground game, advantaged by the Democrats, and the Republicans were kind of running a different playbook.
Yeah, no doubt.
And Charlie Kirk was really responsible for that. That's why he is so highly regarded at this White House, because I think President Trump feels without him, he may not have won. So he felt that he owed Charlie Kirk a great debt of gratitude.
This is a pretty far shot. We are told that there is a hearse kind of in the middle, and that will obviously transport Charlie Kirk's body from Sky Harbor.
Yeah, is that the white? That's the white car in the middle.
Yeah. Yep. It is right there. It's a white one, and so they will load the body, load the casket into the hearse, and then move on from Sky Harbor. And as soon as we learn, you know, details about the funeral, we will pass them on to you. You know, Turning Point was heavily connected with Dream City Church, and that is a mega church, you know, in the Phoenix area. And anytime a political candidate would come to town, they would typically speak at Dream City Church. And so, you know, we have actually reached out to Dream City Church to see if there might be, you know, a funeral or service there. We have not heard back yet.
I think that is likely, but we'll see.
Then they certainly would be able to hold a large crowd there.
Let's check back in with Lindsay Regis on the ground there. Lindsay, give us your sense.
Yes, John. We are still waiting for the hearse to move. I heard we did have eyes on it. Again, our view, it's kind of blocked. We can't see much right now, but we do see these motorcycles, about 8 of them, ready to go. And then we got a camera on, of course, everyone who is here. Phones have been up videoing this entire time right across the street from us as people here wait to watch the hearse go by. Other than that, it is very quiet here. Very quiet on the other end as there are some flags that people are holding that are along the fence. Just a very emotional moment right now.
And you know, the memorial, it has only continued to grow at the Turning Point headquarters in Phoenix. We've seen that it started really soon after we got word that he had died, and then a large photo of Charlie Kirk went up at the Turning Point headquarters, and then people have been bringing flowers and all sorts of things throughout the day today, and it really is a pretty massive memorial now. We do believe that there are a few other vigils happening tonight throughout the valley to honor Charlie Kirk, and I believe that we were going to send Lindsay to another one potentially later on tonight, but obviously this is kind of the focus right now.